What up, what up? In this video, I am going to answer the age-old question, which hand do you use on the crossfader? The biggest conundrum ever. It's completely relative to the scratch. That's the answer. And I encourage you to scratch on both sides. So usually my answer is both because you want to try both. You don't want to be that DJ that's always has to like cross over to execute something. You want to do that by choice, not because it's a limitation, because that's the only thing you can do. You want to be ambidextrous. So you definitely want to practice on both sides, this orientation and this orientation. That said, when you're first learning a fader scratch or any scratch, you want to pick the side that feels easiest for you to learn it on, okay? So if I am doing a faderless scratch, meaning without the crossfader, I would probably pick my dominant hand, which is my right hand, and that's the side I would learn the faderless scratch on. So faderless scratches being, you know, baby, release, drag, scribble, tip, tear, right? Those are all faderless scratches, meaning they don't use the crossfader. So I would probably learn it with my dominant hand, and then I would teach my other side, okay? But this video is about which hand to use on the crossfader, and that's where it gets a little more technical, right? So you want to try on both sides. A lot of people like to try with their right hand if they're right-handed on the crossfader. If they're left-handed, they like to try with the left hand on the crossfader. Sometimes that will be easier. Definitely transforms will feel easier for you if you're left-handed and you're using your left hand on the crossfader. The cutting motion versus the other way around. If you're left-handed, the right hand might feel more awkward. Whereas I'm right-handed, so it's actually easier for me to do more technical transforms with this hand versus this hand. I can only get so fast. It's my left hand. You know, it is fast, and I've actually trained my left hand to like forced it to learn the transform. But with this hand, I can do it way quicker. So, and that's because this is my dominant hand. But that said, my power side, the side that I like to scratch on the most, is actually this side. And that's just because when I learned, it was back in the mid-90s, there weren't a lot of crossfader scratches. Yes, there was a transform and the chirp and the stab scratches. Those are all fader scratches, so transform, chirp, and stab, right? Those are all fader scratches. But a lot of, you know, who I was learning from, DJ Faust, he was really good at the faderless scratches. And so I was like, oh, I need my dominant hand on the record, right? And so I would just force this hand to learn things. And then eventually, through my DJ career, I started learning on the other side, which is not what I recommend for you if you're first starting out. Definitely learn on both sides the whole time. You're gonna find that some scratches are easier on this side, some scratches are easier on this side, but keep trying to learn on both sides so you can be more ambidextrous. For me, it was only halfway through my scratch career that I started to actually, you know, really focus on my non-dominant side, right? And I started at the beginning, I'd be way better on the side than I am now, right? So I've only had about 10 years on this side when I could have like 27. So I encourage you to try on both sides. In terms of the fader, which hand to put on the crossfader, try your dominant hand first, see how that works. So in this case, if it's the transform, I'm doing the transform scratch. Okay, it feels better with my right hand on the fader, using the technique. Okay, I got that, great. So then I analyze, what am I doing with my body? First of all, where am I standing? I'm kind of over here. I'm not here, I'm here. And I'm also, I've got my hand extended. I even stick out my little pinky like I'm having tea. And it's balancing. So this, it appears like it's just hanging out and doing nothing, but really, to me, it's balancing my hand. But the point is, this is what I'm doing. I'm holding my thumb here. In this case, the transform, my hand is up. It's not like this, which most of my scratches, I scratch like this. For this, it's here. To get those faster ones, I could transform like this. with the angle, but when I want to get those faster ones, I pitch up like this. So I'm analyzing everything, I'm seeing what I'm doing. You can also see what you're doing with the record hand, but we're talking about the crossfader right now. So moving over here, okay, this is my non-dominant hand on the fader. So as I'm doing this, I'm gonna look and be like, okay, first of all, where was I standing? Well, this side is the left side, so I have more of an option to stand further over here because the record hand is here. In this case, the record hand is here, so I can only go so far unless I want to put my hand here, like standing further to the right. But I'll just try to stand like close to here, kind of like where I was standing, right here. So because the key is, I know for the fader hand, I need to have the back of my hand pointing up to the ceiling. And this has to be ergonomic like this, so it's not going to be like this. It's going to be like this. And get that pinky out. Let's see. Ooh, see? I got it faster. And what I was doing, I was analyzing what I did over there and mimicking it over here. And there are some differences. The pinky isn't sticking out as much as it was on the other side, right? But that's okay. As long as like I try to mimic it as much as possible, and then I may have to make certain adjustments depending what side I'm on. That is how you choose which hand to put on the crossfader. It's completely dependent on the scratch that you're doing. You may be learning the flare, and it may be easier to have your non-dominant hand on the crossfader because it's more relaxed, you know, or the crab, for example, because it's more relaxed. On the non-dominant hand is not as strong as the dominant hand. The dominant hand is stronger, it's bigger, it's got more muscles. It's like a bodybuilder versus a gymnast, where it's just like leaner, more flexible, more relaxed. This is my gymnast, this is my bodybuilder. For the power scratch, where I'm like doing the heavy lifting, you know, that's super helpful, right? It's harder with the weaker hand here. That said, when I need a more relaxed hand, the non-dominant hand is really helpful to do more scratches where you need more relaxation in your hand, such as the crab scratch. That's a 4-finger crab scratch. I'm using all 4 fingers. I need to be a little more relaxed. It's actually harder for me to do that. It's harder for me to do that on this side because this hand is more muscular, it's stronger, and I have to like actively relax it in order to get the technique that I want using my dominant hand on the fader. So I hope these tips help you out. Just really, again, the rule of thumb, pun intended, is to pick the side that feels easiest when you're learning the scratch. Learn it on that side, even if it's not your power side, right? My power side is this side where I can do most of my scratches, but some things are like the transform is easy over here, so I would learn that over here and then teach this side how to do it. And then vice versa if you're the opposite. If it's easier to do over here, then you teach this side. And that's how you can then become more ambidextrous, by actually teaching both sides. And it informs you on how to teach yourself, because you're using your own body, what works for you and your own body, which is very unique to you. Tall DJs scratch slightly different than short DJs because short DJs have shorter arms. Tall DJs have longer arms, longer legs, or, you know, like there's, so the bigger hands, you know, you might have bigger hands or smaller hands depending on what you have. So do what works for you, figure it out, figure out what works for you on the side that's easiest, and then go to the other side and teach that side. And that goes for the hand on the record or the jog wheel, as well as the hand on the crossfader. So I hope that helps you to finally choose which hand to use on the crossfader. Remember, pop quiz, the answer is both. You want to try both. But definitely pick the hand that feels easiest when you're first learning. I hope that helps you, and I'll see you on the flip side.